All right, we should be live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We are joined by a very special guest today, wearing yet again another new onesie from the awesome Daniel Hulan. What's up, what's up, what's up? All right, let's see who's in the chat. Hey, what up, Daniel? You made it. First of all, y'all need to guess who is this wearing this onesie. But her sister's asleep. That's why her sister's in the other AMD one, but she's asleep, so I do not want to bother her and get her all cranky. I'll let the guesses come in. Is this Mia or is this Lexi? Okay, you chill right here, girl. But we got Stang 2007 was first in the house. What up, Stang? Hope you, the family, the little one is doing well. We're coming up, so we are about, with these girls, 3.5 months. So you are like a month behind, so 2.5 months. Hope all is going well. During that phase, they were still little nightmares at night. So I'm curious if you're going through the same phase. We got KL130 in the house. What up, Grayman Media? How about this? Gigabyte Radeon RX 9060 XT Gaming OC at $342.95 at B&H. Is that what they're going for right now? Let me pull that up in a second. But you got that. And the Oracle M.2 4 terabyte today. We'll be getting that on Friday. Nice. Some nice upgrades. What up, Dispatcher Gaming? And yep. Daniel Hulan in the house. People are guessing Mia. We got Lexi from No Don't. What up, E? Congrats, man. Haven't been into tech for a while. Didn't know you had twins. God bless you and them. Thank you, PCOK. Thank you for the kind words. What up, Beans? You're on call again, so you stay as long as you can, for sure. You got way more important things to do than just to watch a stream, so thanks for stopping by and saying hi, though. I appreciate it. What up, Jaleel? Hi, I watched the LAN video as soon as it dropped, as always. Gets me hyped for my annual December. Nice! December LAN? How many people? And what games y'all like to play? I think this next LAN we have coming up, we're gonna have a few new games. This most recent LAN video, Repo, I think was the only new title. We did play a lot of Grand Theft Auto. I didn't include all the footage, but we played a ton of Grand Theft Auto. That was the most played game. But this next one, I think we're gonna play a few more new games, and we're super close to setting a date. It's looking like November, though. It's gonna be tough because the LAN's gonna be in November, and I'm gonna try to get the video still out by the end of the year, so that we have 2 LAN video releases, every year. That's how it goes. So pushing the LAN to November means I have like a month and some change to edit the video and get it out by December. And I'll probably aim for Christmas, New Year's break. Probably gonna have to be New Year's, because Christmas break would be pushing it. Giving that extra week before New Year. That'll be when the final LAN video for 2025 comes out. What up, Isabelli? Bula all the way from the Fiji Islands. Hello. What up, Riggs? Little one is cluster feeding, which is helping with sleep now. We just wake up twice a night. Okay, nice. Is there a bottleneck in the RTX 5080 and Ryzen 9 9900X? No, that should be fine. Oh, what's up? What's wrong, love? Here, you want to type? I'll let you sit at the table and do some important work. Here's the keyboard. Hey, what up, Ryan? How you doing? Yes, it's a baby. What GPU am I rocking now? I am rocking the Intel Arc B580. I'm really close to popping in a NVIDIA graphics card, though. Just for the Premiere Pro side of things. Premiere Pro, I've been having weird bugs with the Intel Arc V580. My renders just stop randomly halfway through for no reason. What up, Jensen? Wondering what you think about the decision. I want to race Formula 4. What is Formula 4? Is that like the lower leagues for getting ready for Formula 1? Never heard of Formula 4. It's an open wheel racing car category for junior drivers. Is there Formula 3 and 2 as well? Formula 2. There is a Formula 2 and a Formula 3. I've never heard of the different Formula. Okay. Interesting. You're interested in racing. Should you save to race 4? Is this something that you like do professionally, or can you do it like as a hobby? If it's a hobby, for sure. But if after high school you want to save to race for Formula 4, I have no idea what that entails. Like, is that something you need to start at a young age if you want to go to a professional level at? Like, I can't give you life advice like that. If you're interested in doing it, obviously, you know, you have to make that decision yourself. But I think in general, right, not specifically to your Formula 4 question, I would say definitely if you are trying to do something that has like a low percentage, not success rate, but like low percentage of people making it into that field or profession, which professional sports and something like this might be, have like backup plan and backup plan too, just in case. But that's the only advice I could give. I don't know much about any of the Formula racing, to be honest. I'm not a fan of, like, I don't watch Formula or like NASCAR or any of that kind of stuff. How you doing, girl? This is Lexi, by the way. This is Lexi. Let me show you the. So last week we wore the baseball jerseys from Daniel. Though he sent a total of 5 of them. There's 3 NVIDIA and 2 AMD ones. But this one, he sent 2 of these versions almost. One with just the NVIDIA logo, and one with the. We got extra text right there. You see? The more you buy, the more you save. Oh yeah, and since I had both girls in my hands last week, I couldn't show the back. But Daniel did these jerseys front and back. So he does have the team green and then the our last name with the number on the back. So he went all out on these. But yeah, this is Lexi. What up, Sean Hank? Where's the next LAN at? That will remain a secret until the video drops. The next LAN is going to be at a, let's just say, a pretty cool location. I don't want to give it too much away. But yeah. You guys, for your LAN, play similar games. A lot of Valorant, COD Zombies, Pico Park, and Observation Duty. Oh, cool. I think we're going to play Peak next time. We got to finish Chain Together for sure, because we're on the last quarter of it. And then we didn't play Pico Park this time around, or Pico Park 2 rather. I don't think we played Pico Park 2 at all, even though it's been out for the last 2 LANs, so we need to do that. And I would love to play COD Zombies, but because it's not free, we try to pick games that are either like dirt cheap, because, you know, there's 14 people to go around, and we're not trying to make people have to spend too much money just for a single game, you know. And Call of Duty being the price that it is, that's tougher. That's why we play like Halo Infinite, which is free, and they have like custom zombie-like maps. So we do that. What up, Robert Fixit? Hello, halfway through the LAN, saving some for later, for sure. If you're halfway through, then you must have seen the egg cooking section, which, while I was editing it, I was laughing so hard. I was like, I'm so glad I have all the footage, because I wouldn't have remembered it until you put it all together. What's wrong, love? You want a bouncy, bouncy, bouncy? Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy? Hmm? Yeah? 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 Oh man. Oops. I just skipped a bunch of chat. Sorry. Sup? Staying Murder. Hope you're doing great as well. The last land video fire. Appreciate the content. Thank you. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but for a long time now, I mean, we've been, I don't remember. How many land parties videos do we have? Let me take a look. Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, I'm going to grab Mia now. She just woke up. We're going to have both girls on stream. Hi, Mia. You gonna be chill? You gonna be cool? Okay, love. All right. Okay. We're going to have to change the camera mode. Yep. Will do. All right. We are joined by Mia in the AMD with her matching headband. Hi, Mia. Say hi to the stream. All right, girls. But what I was saying is, you know, we're wrapping up 10 years of LAN party stories now. I think there was a couple years where we only had one. So I think there's been like 17 or 18 LAN party videos by this point. And I said it in the video, but for the people who didn't see, like, sometimes after a LAN, even though we have fun, I worry, like, is this going to make a good video? Because we've been doing this for so long. Are people going to think, like, it's repetitive or it's boring or, like, we can't just one-up ourselves every time. I think, like, some of the peak LANs have already happened. Like, one of my favorite LANs is the one that we first had at this house back in, like, 2018 or 2019. The first time we landed in our new house. But, you know, it's impossible to keep one-upping ourselves because that's just not how things work. So I always wonder if people would be like, oh, this LAN was mid, or like, oh, this is getting old, kind of like what we were talking about at the end of the video. But after editing it, I was like, you know what? I think there's enough content to make it worth watching every time, so yeah. And then, so this next LAN, I can say that it's not going to be at my house. The last LAN that we're going to do in 2025. But that should mean the LAN after that in 2026 should be here. And that will be the first LAN party that these girls will be a part of. So I think that will be a fun video to see how that all works out. At that point, they're going to be like 8 months old, around 9 months, not even a year yet. So, okay, I stand. Jeez, you girls, so demanding. Okay, we stand. Okay, how am I supposed to read the chat? One second, I need to fix the chat before I stand and move it to the bottom. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, you're gonna wait for I await the 5 years of pizza debate compilation. Yeah. Okay, we stand. I've been watching since the first LAN party stories. Holy hell, I'm getting old. I know, right? Some of y'all might have been in like middle school or high school, and now you're in like your mid-20s if you've been watching LAN party stories for that long, which is kind of nuts. I was 26. Was that 26? Yeah, I was 26 years old at the time for the first LAN party stories. And now it's 10 years later, and I got these two bundles of joy right here. It's gonna be a LTT house. Oh man. People are saying, invite Linus. If only I can invite anyone from LMG to LAN party stories. That would be pretty cool. They did technically kind of sponsor one of the previous LANs though, so I think that was cool in itself. Hey Danny, you could totally play Counter-Strike at a huge party. Yeah, so during this last LAN video, you saw that other Danny, Brunzel, had Counter-Strike pulled up. We did have people install Counter-Strike. We just didn't get to it. I do want to play Counter-Strike because there are a lot of Steam Workshop maps. They have like their own version of Prop and Seek as well as other games. So I would be totally down to do Counter-Strike. Not like, you know, traditional Counter-Strike, because none of us really play that normally, or I don't like Counter-Strike the way that the game plays. It's way too twitchy of a shooter for me, and I suck at it. That's why I play like Halo. I'd rather prefer Halo and like Call of Duty. But Counter-Strike, the little custom games and stuff could be fun. So, wow. The camera's following them now. What up, the one lad? Can't hang out for too long. We'll watch after work. Love the content. The LAN party stories have given some amazing moments in pretty tough times. Thanks for it all, for sure. Thank you for the support over the years. The one lad, you've been one of you are one of the longest or long-standing viewers and supporters of the channel. I love how you added the super unnecessary shower footage. Yeah. That's just, I don't remember when I first added shower footage, but it's kind of like a staple meme of the videos. Just it randomly popping up and taking people, especially new viewers, by surprise. Yeah. Yeah. Lexi, how you doing, girl? Doing, doing, doing. So we're just chilling for a bit. We'll get into the rest of the stream. I'm just hanging out with the girls. Backup has not arrived yet, so it's just me and Melissa right now. But yeah. I want to get 4 original Xboxes and throw a Halo Combat Evolved LAN. That was fun with System Link. In like 4 different rooms. Yeah, that is pretty fun. That was technically probably my first experience with LANing. Would you consider that LAN Xbox over System Link? Even though it's not on a PC, it is playing on Xboxes over kind of a local network. It's more of like a link cable, but still, it's technically not on like your home internet, but they were all interconnected. Lexi is on the left and Mia is on the right. You are correct. I usually hold Lexi on the viewer's left, so on my right. Like, that's how we pose them for pictures and stuff. Did Mia make a mess? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you, chat. Mia. I couldn't even see, because I can't see their faces. So I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at the camera screen on OBS, and the window's not that big, so it didn't show up that well on there. But Mia, can you thank chat for pointing out that you spit up on your brand new first time ever worn onesie? Double the baby, double the fun. God bless them. Double the pukes, double the poops, double the feedings. Double the everything. Mia, you ate so long ago. How did that come up? Like, an hour later. Was it because I was bouncing? Are you going to put back the 20? Yes, the 24-hour stream. My plan is, so I'm finally going to get to the server video, hopefully this month. Because I'm running out of storage on my Synology NAS. We've been taking so many pictures and video of the girls, but I really need to get that server spun up, my home server and NAS. Okay, you want me to stand, girl? Okay, I will stand. But yeah. So once I get that server spun up, I was gonna run a virtual machine to run the stream, so that before I was running the 24-hour stream via a laptop that I had sitting on the side, but it'd just be easier to do it over or with the server. So I do plan on spinning it back up, but For the time being, people are just going to have to go watch the individual videos. How's you guys' sleeping going? Things normalizing out yet? So we're doing, we used to do shifts where I had the night shifts. Now we're doing, we both are trying to sleep through the night with one waking up. So like I've been going to sleep early. Oh, love. 1 second. All right. Okay. I stand. And your headband's coming off. But I've been going to, like, last night I went to sleep at 9 p.m., which is like the earliest I've slept ever. And then I woke up at like 2 a.m. to feed. And then Melissa woke up at 4 a.m. to do the feeding. And Melissa fed them at 1 a.m. before she went down. So now we're trying it where both me and Melissa, we take one shift at night. But we should, in theory, both get like 3 to 4 hour segments of sleep, like 2 of those, which, you know, works out to 6 to 8 hours of sleep if things go well. Unless they are just out of sync and are crazy overnight, then we get less sleep. But it's last night was fine, so we'll see how tonight goes. Okay, you lost your headband. You lose your headband. How you doing, love? Okay, you getting antsy? How are you? We are 20 minutes into the stream. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys upstairs in daycare and to hang out with Mama. All right, guys, I will be right back. I'm gonna put them upstairs. Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Danny, I sent a message on Reddit. Okay, let me take a look. Something in the land video. Oh, okay, let me see. Let me actually take a look at that. If anything, I might be okay with it, depending on the degree. I figured it would be related to that. Okay, let's take a look. It doesn't look like it. I'm at the timestamp you're saying, and it looks fine. Oh, there you go. You're right. Good. Oh, man, I'm going to have to trim it. How did that... Thanks for the heads up. You have a good eye, my goodness. How did you see that? That was literally a split second. I can trim that out. I can't even... Wow. No, I'm not going to tell you the timestamp. Yeah, let me go trim that out. It shouldn't... hopefully the processing doesn't take that long. But good eye, my goodness. Okay. Thanks for the heads up, though. I appreciate it. What would you say the equivalent you spend on diapers over time equals the price of a 5090? Let me do the math in a second. Let's see what the math would be. Cost. So a box of diapers costs like $25. 25, and we go through about. Let's see. 10. About a box a week. So, a box a week, 10 weeks is $250. So a year's worth would be $12.50. So in about a year and a half, we will be spending in diapers. Actually, no, they'll be pooping and peeing less, I think. So probably 2 years. In 2 years of spending on diapers, that I would have been able to buy a 5090 at $2,000. So, yep, there goes my my 5090 money to things that just go into the trash can due to poopy diapers. All right, let me trim this real quick. I don't even know if I could trim it that fine of a resolution. My goodness. And wipes, yes. And we kind of like, we don't buy the cheapest diapers. We buy ones that are more like hypoallergenic, good, safe on skin and stuff. Not like the most expensive ones, but we do buy ones that I wish were cheaper. Let's just say that. How am I supposed to see this? Sorry, 1 second. I need to fix this thing from the LAN video. Or I could probably do it later. Yeah, I might have to do it later. Because YouTube editor is being stupid right now. Yeah, it is not. Because the video's freaking 3.5 hours long, the timeline, it's not playing nicely with me trying to get this exact moment in time. Okay. F4 costs $100,000 to $250,000 a season. Most people start with karting as a kid. Most people who race in the Formula Series have rich parents. Sadly, I don't have wealthy parents. With a sponsor, I might be able to. But how would you get a sponsor, though, is the thing, right? Not trying to, like, discourage, but looking at the situation, I would think getting a sponsorship is pretty competitive, so you would have to have at least some kind of reputation or experience under your belt. But I don't know. Like, have you been karting as a kid, like you said? Do you have, like, are you, for your age, like, up there in the, I guess, like, national rankings for, are you in the US or are you in a different country? But yeah, like all these things, $100,000 to $250,000, that's more than so many people make after tax take home, even in some combined like 2 income households. And this is just to do something. That's the cost of it. And then are you going to get paid more than that cost so that you're actually making money now that you've graduated high school and are an adult? So that's why when I said earlier, like, have backup and double backup and triple backup plans, because if you're trying, this seems like doing F4 seems like it's reserved for like the 0.001% of the people out there, right? It's not like your typical job that you could easily get. So I'm not trying to be discouraging, but realistically, like looking at it with a mature like mindset, with life experience, like I don't see many people being able to pursue this unless they're, like you said, have rich parents or have been doing it so much as a kid that they could secure sponsors because they're that good at it. So yeah, that's just real talk. Peckish says, may you help please with the spot I'm currently in, struggling to choose what I can buy to upgrade for my PC for Christmas. You have an 8500G and an RX 6600. I can get either a 7800 X3D or a 9060 XT. I would get the graphics card first because one it's the more affordable one, and it's going to give you the larger uplift in performance. Your 8500G, that's not like a horrible processor. It's pretty modern. It's an APU, but it can handle a 9060 XT. But if you keep your 6600, you're gonna have to upgrade your motherboard. Wait, 8500G, is that that's AM5. Never mind, sorry. I was thinking, yeah, that's AM5. So you don't have to upgrade your RAM and motherboard. So it's not going to cost more. So I take that back. Sorry. For some reason I was thinking AM4. But so it's going to cost about the same, or at least in the US, the 7800 X3D and the 9060 XT are roughly like $350 to $400. But if you can only get one of the two, I would get the graphics card personally if you are primarily gaming, because it's going to give the bigger uplift. It's going to allow you to play games at higher resolutions and better graphics. Whereas I guess the 7800 X3D would get you better, like, overall average FPS and 1% lows in like esports games and stuff like that. It'll help in AAA titles, but I don't think to the degree that the graphics card bump up will. So me personally, I'm thinking 9060 XT, but yeah, it's really up to you. I think eventually you're gonna get both. It's just which one do you do first? Duck T says, hey there, found your channel on Linus Tech Tips. Didn't expect you to be local from Lynnwood. Is there any good deal stores except Cheaper by the Day to deal hunt? Did you watch my Cheaper by the Day deal hunting? That place sucks. No. I mostly do Facebook Marketplace, and OfferUp around us is pretty decent, especially if you're willing to drive all the way down to like Tequila or sometimes up to Marysville. If you're willing to go like 30, 40 minutes north or south, there's like a lot of deals to be had. I'm kind of lazy these days. I try to stick within 10, 15 minutes of our radius. So there's less deals. Because like to me, it doesn't make sense to drive 40 minutes round trip, so an hour and a half both ways, to like save 20 or 30 bucks. Just on something, you know? Like time and gas is money, so yeah. Yeah, Shauner says would upgrade the GPU first. I think most people would upgrade the GPU first. Unless, again, you're playing Valorant or CS2 or League of Legends. Then the 7800 X3D would give you killer gains. But even then, the 8500G should be plenty for those games. I don't know how many people are real pro gamers that can, like, you know, benefit from 300 to 400 FPS and Hertz monitors. Doback slaps with the 5 gifted memberships. Yo, Daniel Hulan got one. Tony D, Chicken Tacos, Andy McRandy, and N6 got one. Thank you. Doback slaps. How you doing, Doback? What up, computer guy? Scott Stiver says, dude, love your channel. Thank you for all that you share on YouTube and the community on your side of America. Do you have Discord? I do have a Discord. It should be down in the description below. I try to be active on there. I would say I'm on there like at least every day or every other day. But it's a pretty like slow moving Discord. So it's not going to be crazy like the Linus... Does LMG have a Discord, by the way? I forget if they do. But like if you've been into like the Toasty Bros Discord or Zach's Tech Turf or like any of the other creators, I would say my Discord server... I mean, I only opened it like a year and a half or maybe 2 years ago. And I don't heavily advertise it, so it's a pretty small community, but it's pretty chill. Daniel Hulon sent Wonder a budget gifted memberships, and Scott Sivers got it. What up? How's that working out? Nice, thank you, Daniel, for the donation. I appreciate it. All the good deals near me are like 30 plus minutes away, and Facebook keeps showing them to me even though I have a small range. Huh. Yeah, I make sure to like change my range to like 10 miles or whatever the smallest increment is. What up, Killer Spider? HDZ77. My nephew's very happy with his very first build I helped him with. Only $1,000 for a 9600X 9060XT build. Love the experience of building a PC. Yeah, I mean, for $1,000, that is like pretty much the standard build right now. 9060XT and like a 9600, 9600X, 7600X, 7600, any of those. But yeah, they're very, very solid. Nice. I got a 3070 for 200. The thermals were a nightmare because the guy messed up repadding and repasting. I took it apart, fixed it all, maxing 88C. Afterwards, it's 58C. That's a huge difference. But $200 for a 3070 is a win in my book. That is a win. Playing games like Fortnite, Rocket League, Minecraft, Euro Truck Simulator, Osu, Marvel Rivals. Yeah, for those, and you chase FPS. The thing is, if you chase FPS and you upgrade to 7800 X3D, I think the 6600 is going to limit you, especially in games like Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals, I don't know how hard Euro Truck Simulator is, but I think all those simulator games are on the easier side. But Rocket League, Fortnite, Valorant, and stuff like that, those, it's weird because those would benefit from the 7800 X3D. But you listen Marvel Rivals on there, and that's, I think, is going to benefit more from the 9060 XT, given that's like a title that released this year. And it's pretty demanding to run. I still say the graphics card, and you always have room to throw in the CPU later, right? Facebook will change that range. Yeah, I feel like so many whack AF. I feel like so many of the filtering systems on so many of these websites completely suck. Like, you guys have seen me filtering on Amazon and eBay when we're deal hunting. Like, it's just horrible. And I haven't had that experience on Facebook. Though I will say OfferUp, I feel like always resets when I do a new search. I just want my settings to be dialed in when I search on OfferUp. And even when I change keywords for the search bar, I don't want it to like reset every time. And I swear that's what it does to me. Oh my god, ads. Okay. I do have ads on for this stream because we've been kind of trying to test that. Let me know if they're like way too intrusive. Because if you guys didn't know, I pretty much make no money on the streams. So I'm testing the ads on it. Well, I make money when people like donate and do super gifts and stuff like that. But even for those, YouTube takes a decent cut. So I'm trying to see how the ads experience is. If it's too intrusive and annoying and causes people to leave, I'll turn off ads. But for the most part, when I do these, 2-3 hour streams every single week, I make like on average probably less than $10 per stream over the course of the years I've been streaming. Probably closer to like $5 if you average it out, because there are plenty of streams where there's like no donos and stuff, which is okay. Like, I enjoy doing the streams, but for the ads, I figured, it's just something I can turn on, not think about, and if it brings in extra income for the channel, why not? So just let me know if it sucks too much and I can turn it off. But I'm trying to bank on people who have YouTube Premium to help carry that, because I don't know if you guys knew, but I think YouTube Premium, for all the things that we subscribe to, like Netflix or Hulu, Amazon Prime, I think for the cost of YouTube Premium versus how much the average user watches YouTube videos, either for entertainment or education, that's probably my most worthwhile subscription or monthly payment that I have outside of like my internet connection and of course like my mortgage. But YouTube Premium, given the amount of like hours we spend watching YouTube and stuff. But yeah, let me know. It's not that bad. It's just so many people are so used to having ad block and never paying for, YouTube, that I always see people complaining about it on Reddit. Like, YouTube's making all these changes, Google Chrome's making all these changes to ad block and stuff like that, and people are just like super stubborn about having to either watch ads so that they can watch content for free, or to just get YouTube Premium to have no ads. But that's a whole nother conversation. What's up, giant robots? Wait, what? Euro Truck Simulator is an insanely hard game to run. Okay, I need to look at this. Euro Truck Simulator. Even with a friend with a 9950 X3D and a 5090 gets 60 FPS on low settings. Is this right? Okay, that... Well, what version of Euro Truck Simulator is out right now? What's the newest one? 2024? Greece? Is this like a full game? Okay, let me see. To be announced. Oh, no. Oh, Euro Truck Simulator 2 looks like the newest one. But then it looks like they have like expansion packs and stuff, right? Yeah, so the game came out in 2020. Let me zoom in so you guys can see. I've never played Euro Truck Simulator. I've seen the videos. They're pretty entertaining. People who play with like a wheel and everything. And they try to like, you know, navigate around mountain corners. But, wait, so let me take a look at this. I'm trying to find just the one by the latest date. Something went wrong. What happened? I'm trying to think of which simulator game I've played aside from Supermarket Together. So this requires, yeah, so this is kind of like a DLC expansion, but Euro Truck Simulator 2 is still the newest version, which came out in 2012 originally. And you're saying your buddy with the 5090 only gets 60 FPS on low settings? That doesn't sound right. Can anyone else in the chat play Euro Truck Simulator that can chime in? I mean, if you look at the recommended and the minimum system specs, that is like something seems off. It's because you're driving around, even with thousands of people. Wait, Euro Truck Simulator, do they treat it like an MMO? Okay, let me take a look at this. We need to get to the bottom of this. 5090. Okay. No. Something is... So, here's a 9800 X3D 5090. 6 months ago. We're going to take a look at the settings. So, this is 4K. Right? Let me make this as big as possible. So, we're looking at 4K. 400... What? Why would you have 400% scaling? That makes it like 16K. Or no, not even. That makes it like crazy. You already have the resolution at 4. And then you up the scaling even like 4 times? Okay, that's crazy. The way that works is normally you run at like 100 or even less if you want to improve performance. But if we look at all this, textures high. So this looks like ultra shadows. This is like... It looks like either very high or close to maxed out settings. This person is getting 300 plus FPS with the 5090 and a worse processor. So, I mean... scaling is 1... Okay, so this is scaling at 100. According to this right here. You see? The chapters. So, scaling at 100. So, when we scale to 200, the FPS should drop to like... So, it's like 200 something. Scaling at 300 drops to like 160 something. And 400 scaling is like at 100 something. So, even then, I don't know. Your buddy's rig that's getting that performance level... And other people in the chat is chiming in and seemingly saying something is wrong. What message? Nah, game. He's playing the normal game. So what did you say? Let me elaborate. The base game is really easy to run, but Truckers multiplayer. Truckers multiplayer. Okay. Multiplayer. So how do I find the multiplayer version of this? It doesn't even look like that's a thing that people test. But if you're talking about multiplayer, then yeah, that's going to be affected by your CPU. I mean, you're on a limited budget. I still think the graphics card is the play. It's not like you have like a 7th or 8th gen Intel chip or like a Ryzen 1000 or 2000 series chip. You've got an 8500G. Yeah, it's a Ryzen 5. Yeah, it's 8000 series and it's APU, and you're not going to be using. I haven't looked into it, but can you offset the lossless scaling load to an APU? To, you know how people are running these like dual GPU systems, like dual discrete GPUs, one to run like lossless scaling and one to run like their dedicated primary graphics card. Can you do that with the APU? I have not looked into that, but if that's the case, then I think that's even more of a reason to get the 9060 XT. And yeah, if your 8500G 6600 gets 20 FPS, I'm kind of imagine. Is that due to your 6600 though, on a 12-year-old game? Yeah, you've got a kind of niche. I think you would still benefit more from the 9060 XT. It will still uplift your performance in most of your games compared to your upgrading the CPU's uplifting performance in one game, or maybe like a couple of esports ones that don't even matter as much. I run dual GPU 4060 for gaming, 6060 Ti for media playback with the 5700G, and you have the APU there too. Duck T says, do you part sell PCs you built locally or online? If I sell on something, it's usually through OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, and I do just put up with the low ballers. I just let it sit until I usually price it fairly and that it can move quickly. I'm not like one of those people who's like, I know what I got and like put a stupid price on it. Everything I price is pretty much the value of what it is. And I live, you know, kind of in the Seattle metropolitan, so, or a little bit outside of Seattle, but like, it's still called like the general greater Seattle area. So we have a decent market here. Like, it's not like, I know some people who like live in the middle of nowhere or just where there's not a big tech scene. It's harder to move things, but I try not to sell online because the fees are ridiculous. And then you got to report the taxes when you use sites like eBay, even Facebook and OfferUp online. You're going to get a W-9 for it. And you got to report that on your taxes. It's just like selling in person, doing it like kind of the old school way, when Craigslist was king. And yeah, just not having to deal with all that crap. But I will say, because I am the computer guy, and we have computer guy in the chat, because I am the computer guy for friends and family, I first try to offload to them. If they're trying to buy a system and stuff like that, I'll sell it to them so that they know they're getting like a reputably built system at a good price. And if I have to do troubleshooting or what's it called, customer support, I would rather do that to my friends and family than strangers. So that's why anytime I have a build up, I'm just like, hey, anyone like know anyone who needs a build, etc. So, all right, take it easy, Daniel. Have a good, I guess, work session. No, have fun at work, and we'll catch you next time. How does the 9060 XT do for streaming? It does fine. Yeah. I mean, AMD has their own dedicated hardware encoder. It does support AV1. So yeah, it depends on what you're doing for streaming. Like if you're doing kind of what I'm doing here, or even if you're doing gameplay, it will be fine because you could even split the load between your CPU to do part of it and your GPU to do the other part for like the camera capture versus the game capture. But it's almost not even worth running streaming side by side comparative benchmarks because the performance of the graphics cards relative to each other almost tell you enough. Cole Hurt, thanks for the Nerd on a Budget membership join. I appreciate that. I think the way America does taxes is stupid. In Australia, I'm pretty sure it's all basically done. Yes, I think so too. The way we do taxes is dumb because if I don't do my taxes correctly, the IRS will know I didn't do it correctly. So if you knew I didn't do it correctly, why didn't it already get done automatically, right? Like if I just say screw it, I don't want to report my W-9 or W-2s, they're gonna be like, oh, whoa, wait up, you didn't report this, and I'm like, oh, so you know I have that. Why isn't that automated in the system? It's the year 2025. We have computers. We have technology, Patrick Meme. Like, why do we have to report everything? I understand there are some small side things and, deductions and stuff you might want to do. But for anything that the government is going to come after you for if you don't report, why is that not done automatically? That will also keep it so that people can't do it incorrectly or they can't try to, like, just not report it if they had an automated system. If anything, they should do it, give it to you done, kind of like a tax accountant would do. And then I get the final look over and say, okay, what's right and what's wrong. Like, I don't know. It's because of, like, apparently, like H&R Block and TurboTax and stuff, they're lobbying and all that stuff. So America won't change how taxes are done because companies like HR Block have too much money. Exactly. It should be automated. Yeah, you would think like one of the, most powerful countries in the world, even though, as I say that, look at our healthcare and homelessness issue. But yeah. Yes. We've talked about this so many times on stream. It's crazy. So you say it's still crazy to me that you have to pay tax on an already tax depreciated item. That's greed. Also, to pay tax on something that's been taxed multiple times. Think about the item that you buy on eBay used. Someone already paid tax on that. Like when they bought it from brand new from Best Buy or whatever. Or if they bought it used, on an item that is sold on eBay over the years multiple times, you just taxed on it again and again and again and again. It's dumb. I know. They offer, yes, they do offer a free service for like 1040 easy, like the very simple stuff they can follow for you for free. But still, why do you have to make an appointment and take time out of your, busy life to go do this? Actually, I don't know. Do they do Zoom calls for those H&R Block free appointments? I would imagine nowadays they might. But still, to have to take time to do that, it's kind of annoying. Hydrate. Thank you for the reminder. Everybody, right now, drink some water. Actually, y'all might be fine because you're not talking like me, but I've been talking for like the last 50 minutes. And we've actually just been chilling. Okay. Let's get to what we were supposed to do. In terms of tech news, let's see, PCMR. I saw, this isn't really news, but I saw a really cool post on Reddit this morning. Where is it? It's the person with the GPU collection. Ah, here it is. My GPU collection. NVIDIA, AMD, ATI. This person has this crazy, not all of these are working apparently, but they've got like NVIDIA's NV1. They've got a wall of all like the super old stuff. Oh my god, you know how jealous I am of all these Founders Edition cards? These Founders Editions, and then before they did the Founders Editions, these EVGA cards. Wait, which 280 do they have? 285, 285. Okay, they don't have a 280. They have a 285. He stole my idea. I want to know what they do for a living. Okay, so they answered some questions, but look, this is so cool how they have it organized with the nameplates color-coded and stuff. My goodness. So, some details about this person. It says, let's see. They have from the first Radeon DDR up to the 9070 XT. And then they have from the NV1, NVIDIA's very first product, all the way up to the 5090. So they said how much that must have cost, and they haven't calculated in detail, but they estimate, but it doesn't even reach $10,000 because they got the very expensive recent cards as non-working units. So they went on eBay or whatever and bought like broken cards for the expensive current stuff, as well as, especially if they didn't start collecting from the beginning and bought some of these years after the fact. Actually, I'm very curious. What does the NV1 go for on eBay? That's got to be like... All right. I love estimating graphics cards, and I'm usually pretty close in my guesses for modern cards. But an NV1, let's say a working condition one. I'm thinking $300. Let's see for a working one. Oh, wait. What is this? This is the die. Oh, no. Decorated frame. Yeah, so this is the chip itself, but I want the card. So here's an NV1 for 1,000. Here's... Yeah, so they got these things. But I want like a working card. NV1. There's not even that many on the internet. Okay, so that's the search. This is it. And it looks like... Wow, I was way off. $1,000. Everything else is just like the display with the chip. But... What is this thing? NV996? $500? Yeah. This is from Surplus Goods 2020. This isn't even... Okay, what is this person selling? Surplus Goods 2020. Yeah, they're just selling random stuff. My goodness. Yeah, random keyboards. Like random old school Dell mice. And they somehow just happened upon... Yeah, they do have like... Look at this. Sealed Microsoft Windows 3. What? This seems pretty cheap. Is this on bid? No, it's on buy it now. And this is sealed? Oh, it's a user's guide. That's why. Okay. Yeah, so they have... It looks like they have a bunch of... Like, this is... It's not like a random surplus store. It's all like PC related, at least. Fast and the Furious CD holder. But yeah, that NVIDIA card. $1,000. Wow. Just show... Yeah. Back when there was, like, look at this card. Not even heat sinks on them. Not even passive heat sinks. He made the world's first graphics card museum. Yeah, in his own house. Or their own house. How much would you price this flip? All right, Nathaniel. What's the flip? But, Transpired says, let me guess, 10-year anniversary land is a Linus Land collab, and y'all are flying to Maple Land. That would be so cool. But no, it's not. The only way Linus might be like a part of the upcoming land is if I reach out to see if they want to like send some goodies, like from LTT store, like the mouse mats that they sent a couple years ago. Like, I might reach out and see, like, hey, you guys want to send some water bottles and lanyards or, like, cool stuff like that, but I have not yet. And I only have, like, 2 months to do so, so... Nathan Tasker Force, no apologies needed. We're all busy in life. Good to see you here. No apologies. Just being here. I'm happy to see you. What up, what up, what up? Okay. Wait. Have you talked about Windows Recall and how it sends screenshots of your workstation to Bill Gates? I've not even heard... What are we talking about here? I'm literally going to type in this. Okay. Well, So according to Google AI, Windows Microsoft Recall feature does not send screenshots or associated data to Bill Gates or Microsoft. Despite early concerns and public skepticism, Microsoft has stated repeatedly that all processing and storage of recall data happens locally on the user's device, not remote servers. Windows Central. Let me see if anything. Brainchild. I'm not seeing anything that that's saying that's actually the case. Rolling out Copilot. I was using Copilot. Now that we're talking about this a little bit, I'm trying to come up with the LAN shirt, and I'll show you what Copilot came up with the design for some of them. I plan on actually hiring artists for it, but for the brainstorming, I was using AI just to like get a thing on the on the computer screen, but it's looking pretty bad so far. Like, let me show you if I can find the freaking pictures. So like, oh no, you need to be on your own tab. So I want to make. I don't think I can do this in time for the end of the year LAN, but as we start the next decade of LAN party stories, I want to have this done by the LAN after that. So I was throwing it some prompts like, hey, make a LAN party. Yeah, it's bad. I know it's bad. That's how this stuff works. I'm not saying this is good. I'm showing you because it is laughably bad. So then I was throwing it different versions. I was like, okay, I don't think it would be a good idea to have like people on it. So I said, remove the people, and it did this. And then I said, can you change the color scheme? And then it did this. What is this? This looks like a Stranger Things style shirt. And then I was like, but you guys see, right? The tater tots and dino nuggies and pizza. But I think this looks horrible still. But I was just trying to see like how much I can morph it to give me something as a concept, and I'll get a real artist to do it well. And then so like I was like, all right, get rid of like, make it less PCs. So I was somewhat surprised that it was able to like take my instructions pretty literally. Each time I told it to do something specific, it actually did it. So that surprised me. It's still not like the best, but I guess it was better than I thought. So then I gave it a reference, and it totally like it needs so much instruction. So so here's one that it did based on like, because the whole Japanese streetwears, people are like super into that design. Remove this AI slot from my screen. And I've already done one t-shirt design that was kind of like this. Obviously, it didn't know what the hell to do. It threw in like the Kitsune mask and then like roses and stuff. But I was like, okay, we could kind of work with this. Obviously, we got to change some elements up. But I like the font placement. I told it to stack the letters. I actually like the lettering of this one. Like, this is starting to get to a workable thing. I probably won't do Japanese text again. So I'll remove the Japanese text. I'll remove the Japanese elements, obviously. But so I kept on throwing it more and more instructions. Like, I was working with the color schemes, and then I tried to make it do dino nuggies and tater tots. So it's getting to like at least somewhat of a workable concept that now I can find a professional artist and have them do it actually by hand and pay them, obviously. But yeah, I was trying to play around with like the different ways to do it. Again, I'll put something else. No, I don't think I want to do Japanese text. I've already done that on one shirt, and I feel like a lot of people are already doing that. Like, I think even so, if you look at Jay's 2 cents, and I feel like Gamers Nexus even have one that's kind of Japanese themed. But yeah, Jay's 2 cents. I think that shirt. These two shirts kind of have that like that feel to it, like the Japanese streetwear type of line art, and with like the text and stuff. Can I zoom in? No, no zoom in. But yeah, you can kind of see that. I don't think he has Japanese letters on his specifically, but is there anything else? I was really trying to get it to do the Dino Nuggy correctly, but it couldn't. Ayo, actually, Dino Nuggy streetwear would be cool. it would be. But I want to incorporate LAN party stories into it, and I think Dino Nuggies have pretty much been in them almost since the beginning. I need to watch back the first few and see if they were in it, but yeah, I was for the longest time trying to get it to do this Brontosaurus shape. It would not do it. Like, it would not change the direction of this. I tried like 5 separate times. Can you change the way the Brontosaurus is facing? Can you change it? It would not change it at all. So, I think with regards to like the overall design, it'll be something kind of like this, kind of like a cool big graphic tee, and we'll put some like some of the most notable themes from LAN parties instead of these images. Remove the Japanese text and put something else, maybe a quote or something there, or maybe the year 2016 when we established the series, something like that. But I think I would say Copilot was pretty cool in taking my ideas from my head, putting it on paper to some degree. Clanker don't understand left from right. It's crazy because I fed it. I said, hey, make it the exact shape of this Dino Nuggy. I sent it the picture and it still wouldn't do it. So yeah, sometimes it'd be dumb like that. Chase Atwood says, I'm using one of the new Snapdragon X Plus processors in my new work Surface laptop and managed amazingly fast. Never used ARM before. No, I have not used like anything like ARM based. And the only like Snapdragon chips I've ever used, well, is you know, like phone stuff. But in terms of like a laptop or like, you know, personal computer wise, I have not. When you say it's fast, do you mean it's fast for the low power draw and efficiency, or is it also fast relative to hunker gaming laptops with gigantic power bricks? Probably not that, right? Because I'm not sure if it's there yet. ARM is trash already. Smash TV Network hating on it. First time here, I'll have to check out the earlier videos. Ernesto said, my fave tech. I'll have to check out the earlier. You saw me LTT? Yeah, for sure. If you're talking about the LAN party story series, I would say for new viewers, if anyone's a new viewer here, I would probably recommend watching. Yeah, I would say watch the first LAN party stories and watch it in order. Don't worry, you're not missing out on anything by not watching the latest ones first. I think, if anything, watching it in order from the 2016 LAN parties till now, it builds up that story. It builds up the, you know, the LAN crew members, their arcs and their backgrounds and stuff like that. Because going into it now, we have so many inside jokes that and references people probably don't even understand. You know, it's been 10 years of this stuff. But if you watch it from the beginning, you could build all that up, and then, you know, you probably binge it pretty easily. Some people have told me that they binged it in like a very short amount of time. So, LAN shirts required Nick and Casey's face on it. I was thinking about having one with everyone's face on it, but that would be way too much in a complicated design. I don't think I want anyone's actual face on it. If anything, maybe quotes. But yeah. The software, why do you spell software like that? The software support is very weak. Not many PC game can run on ARM. Yeah, not comparing to gaming computers. Yeah, that's not what I use it for. Very quick for work tasks coming from a 12900 system. I guess that compared to those ultra like efficient Ryzen chips, you know, or Ryzen APUs, I'm curious what the side-by-side performance is, because I've used those before and those are pretty awesome for what they are. Again, not for gaming unless it's light gaming, but compared to like ARM chips, I'm curious if it's like worth, you know, hopping to an ARM based system when we already have pretty like good battery life, ultra efficient versions of both Ryzen and Intel has like their super ultra efficient chips too. I'd buy a shirt with Jan on it. Wait. Oh, Jan's here. Wait, Jan was the one who said that. I didn't even realize that was Jan. Land shirts require Nick and Casey's face on it. I just clicked on it. I didn't even see that Jan was the one who typed that. What up, Jan? Why would you put a ball sack? Why would you put a sideways ball sack in the chat, Jan? Am I gonna have to ban you? What up, MT? Jan, give me ideas. I'm not sure how much of the shirt talks you heard, but give me ideas too. That's not Jan. That's not Nick and Casey's face. Aside from Dino Nuggies and Tots, I don't know what other iconic, kind of easy to put image, because it can't be a super complicated, detailed image. It needs to be something that's like a simple 2D, like non-detailed image. I know, right? The lewd humor. Yeah, I feel like I might have been the most lewd this most recent land, especially when I was doing that thing with Martin too. It was so random, and I had to put it in because it was so random and caught even me off guard. Baja Blast was only kind of in the most recent lands though. We haven't even done it for, I think it's only been the last 3-ish years. So. Yeah. Yeah, see? A lot of you guys already know some of the inside jokes. T-shirt with Jesse watching K-pop fan cams. It's gotta be quotes for sure. Chang or something. Yeah, Chang. Yeah, we could fit a bunch of random stuff on here. But, I do like this. I think I for sure want to keep the stacked font. It's gonna have to be a square, though. Because, the shirt company that I work with, they don't do full shirt designs. They do, like, the upper chest. So we're going to have to make it a little bit smaller. I might have to find a new supplier or a new merch shop. Jason, do you know if your merch shop... Let me see. Jason Whitmer. Jason's getting a free plug because I have to look up his store. Okay. So here's Jason's stuff. Dad hat with the graphics card on it. But the one that you use, like... Have you tried... to like put a big design on here to cover the whole shirt? I would imagine yours might be like mine too, where it's just upper chest area. Make a shirt of Pizza Hut man beating up a Domino's man. It's upper chest? Dang it. Yeah, I think I might... Yeah, I don't think any of these print shops, because of the way that they do them in mass bulk, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do full designs. So I'm going to have to do an upper chest design, which is fine. I think it'll work. But yeah, here, free plug for Jason's store. He's got some pretty good looking merch in the chat. Ooh, you can get a pink one. You can get a tan one, and you can get a, what is it, grayish? Get a baby blue one. Buy a hat. I'm not gonna buy a hat. Dude, didn't you know, Jason, influencers expect things to be sent to them for free so that they can unbox it on stream? Hello? Are those shirts HR approved? Will I be okay wearing them to work? Big Deck Energy? You should be. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how work would feel about this. Obviously, it's a Steam Deck in the picture, and it says deck, not dick, so it should be fine. The hats are tempting. They are pretty cool hats. You need to put your LAN Party Stories t-shirt on the merch store. I think it'll be very popular. Oh, yeah, I know. It's just, I literally started working on it today. Like throwing all these designs on, like, all this, I started working, like, and I only spent, like, an hour on it, so... I'm definitely gonna try to finalize it and get it done, and maybe it can release when I do when the video comes out in December. So, yeah. Oh, download notifications didn't work? Okay, let me see. Wait, or did it come through and I just missed it? Ah! Let me. Okay, sorry. MT SOT. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see what the heck is going on there. I should be able to replay it. Stream elements. What are you doing, my guy? Activity feed. Okay, let me pull this out. Okay, I should be able to play it. Replay activity. There we go. MTOSLT says, was here. We like to move it, move it. Thank you for the $25 tip. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry. Did it not show up the first time? Stream element. If it didn't, then stream elements. What the heck is wrong with you? If it did show up and I didn't see it, then sorry. I was too passionate talking about Jason Whitmer's merch. Hey, what up, Charlie Q? Good to see you here. Hello, hello, hello. Case of Gatorade. Are there any good APUs coming to DIY desktops? I think there are. Well, when I say they are, remember those rumors that they were going to be at the level of like 3060s, RTX 3060s? Was that going to be Strix Point? Or is that... It must have been, right? No way we got those kinds of leaks for things even further in the future than this. Okay, let me see. Thank you for the super chat. Let me see. What are we saying? HD77 says, what do you think of the Steam console called Steam Frame? Steam recently patented the name. Steam Frame? Not Rame. Frame. Alright, so seems a top story of today, eh? Steam Frame by Valve Computer. Steam Frame trademark registration intended to cover categories: computer hardware, networking, hardware, peripherals. Okay, processing, audio, Steam Frame. Okay. And what is this supposed to be? A Steam console? That's not cloud-based? Like the... What was it? What was the Steam... What was that first Steam device? Steam Stream Machine. That little tiny... The Steam Link. This is technically a mini computer, right? Yeah. This was like a super... Those mini computers that you see. Because, I mean, it has like input, out. It has like ports. And even though it's running it over like a network, it does have like a processor and probably some RAM and, you know, in here. But it sounds like this Steam Frame thing is going to be like an actual console. Huh. I mean, I guess my thoughts are, is it going to bring the power of... It has to at least be within reach of whatever at the time, you know, once this thing comes out, of like the PS6 or whatever the next Xbox is, or within like 10-20% performance of it. And I see the appeal of it because some people don't want to build a computer. They want something that they could sit on their living room couch, hook up to their TV, except instead of playing PlayStation and Xbox games, have access to their Steam games, which you could do by building your own computer, but this is for the people who don't want a DIY and they want a smaller form factor and they want it at a lower cost than like building your computer. So, I think this, I mean, I could see a huge market for it. I feel like a lot of people want a console equivalent that plays Steam, that they don't have to put together themselves, and that they don't have to play over their network with Steam Link and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, the Steam Deck I would think is pretty successful. I don't know if they've released any like earnings reports and stuff with regards to profit versus losses since it's come out. But I mean, they've worked on iterations of it, and I think there are leaks of newer versions coming. So I think I would say that was a success. So I think a console would be something that people would want. I know Link was not a PC. But I'm saying having one that is an actual PC where you have the hardware in it, I think that's what someone would want. Yeah, Link was just so you could stream it, but you can do Steam Link on your phone. I've played games from my main computer with Steam Link on my phone. And for single player games, it's passable, but it's not ideal. Steam machines would actually be worth it now with Steam OS. Will be cool. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is obviously going to be the price. What was the Steam Deck's price on launch? They're so cheap now, but Steam Deck launch price. So the cheapest one was 400, which I mean, considering a first gen product, even though it did kind of have kind of crappy storage, a first gen product, handheld, you know, built-in screen, able to play games locally, kind of. once you put I guess upgraded the storage. For $400, I think that's kind of crazy for a first gen device. Usually first gen stuff is pretty expensive. So if they could release to market, I would say like 600 or less. I think they could have a lot of interested parties. But I think once you start getting to 700-800, then it's like, bro, you can build a mini ITX system that's more flexible and can do a lot more. Okay, maybe not do a lot more. If it ends up using like, you know, standard graphics cards and CPUs, then it'll be the same thing, just a pre-built. I heard the new Xbox is going to be a DIY Xbox that upgrades like a PC over gens. Huh. I would love to see what that looks like. I mean, at this point, aren't we getting to the point where Microsoft is treating Xbox and Windows like aren't they converging on each other? That doesn't surprise me if basically a future Xbox is gonna like be able to run Windows or do like dual boot, like, you know, a specific Xbox OS, as well as, I mean, you can already, I think Ozzy made a video on this. Ozzy made a video installing Windows on an Xbox, but having like Microsoft release a product that actually does it officially, that doesn't seem far-fetched to me. Well, I'm fading fast. Gotta be to work bright and early. Thanks for again for sure, Scott Stivers. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks for joining in on the stream. What GPU does your main PC have? I'm using the Intel Arc B580. Okay, Nathaniel, you asked this earlier about the flip price. Ryzen 5 3600 RTX 2070 Super B450M, 32 gigs of RAM, ID cooling, okay. 512 Seagull TEP 750 watt. 9 times ARGB fans, brand new, all white build. Is everything? No, of course not. The CPU and GPU is probably not new. The fans are new, but 9 times ARGB fans, if they're like 9 of them from Thermalright, is like around $40, like $13 per 3-pack. What up, Johnson? Hello, hello, hello. So for these specs, okay, let me do some quick mental math on this. So 3600 is what, like $40, 50 if you, it used to be 50 on AliExpress, I think, but like okay, let's say 40 plus the 2070 is like 120. So that's 160 plus another 50, 210 plus 32 gigs of DDR4 for like 70, 280 for, and another 300, 350, 400, 450 with the case, 500 for a flip. I mean, I don't know what case you have, but it sounds like this build might have cost you like $450. Depending on the deals you got, 450 to 500, if I'm doing the math right. But see, for you to make a profit on it, you would have to list for like 600. But I feel like at 600, I don't know how competitive a 3600 and a 2070 is. I guess we could take a look. Let me see. Let's use Jawa as a reference. We haven't hit up our good friends at Jawa for a few streams now. I think we were there like last month, but Let's take a look at gaming PCs around $600 and see what you would be competing with. Well, the 600 is like to make profit on it. If they're trying to break even, I guess Nathaniel needs to put how much was spent on it. But again, Jason, I mean, I think in terms of flipping, that would be the price I'm estimating. If someone is able to pick up a PC that someone is not trying to flip, but they are selling to offload to upgrade, then that build fee wouldn't be factored in. And then, yeah, you could get it for easier, closer to 450 or 500, I think. But let's take a look at what we got going on here. And we'll start from highest price, actually. Shauner with the Neuron type budget, resub or re-membership. Thanks, Shauner, for the support. I appreciate it. Let's see. So for 600, see the 2070, I think it's a little bit worse than 5700 XT, but by how much? Oh, no, they're like neck and neck, according to Tech Power Up. Depending on what sources you look at, they might be closer. So it is neck and neck. So 5700 XT, and this one is a Ryzen 5500, which I think trades blows with the 3600 decently well. This one has less memory, 1 terabyte of storage though. So you're trading storage for memory, and then I need to see a picture, Nathaniel. Do you have a picture that you could see? A dual chamber? Can you post a picture in the Nobe Discord? To stream submissions. We have a channel called Stream Submissions. If you guys want me to look at stuff, which here's Chris's thing, which I forgot to look at last week. This was Chris's. When was this from? This is Chris's first ever or like earliest 3D Mark score. And what year was this? On Windows 2000 though. I forgot what year. I think it was 2003. He said it might have been that he submitted this. I didn't even know 3D Mark was a thing back then. How do they not have the date on here? Dang, they didn't mark the date? But yeah. You spent okay, I wasn't far off. 470. So I was saying 450 to 500, and you're like right in the middle of that range. Okay. So you said, okay, then you might be looking closer to 550 to make it competitive, I would think. And I don't know how much you're trying to get out of your flips, but I mean, the way PC flipping works is you gotta like get really good deals to make money. But let's see what people are offering on here. So here's the 1080 Ti 3600X, and the 1080 Ti relative to those cards, the 1080 Ti is 12% better. So this person has a better, it's an older, 1 gen older, no ray tracing, but it's a 1080 Ti legendary card. And it's a 3600X, so slightly better there. This one has 16 gigs of RAM, but 2 terabytes. How's the storage? 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe. My goodness. Some of these builds on Java, like, they throw in, like, some weird bonuses that, because when I look at PC builds, right, I look at core specs, most importantly, CPU, graphics card, RAM, and then everything else kind of comes secondary. I kind of assume they, put the decent amount of storage and has like a decent case, fans, etc. But when you have a system like this with a 2 terabyte NVMe, this is better storage than like half of the builds out there that are like listed at $1,000, because those they typically put like 1 terabyte drives, right? But yeah, this build right here, and this person is gonna have to take a cut from selling on Java to both the Java platform and Stripe, and they're selling for 600. So Nathaniel's build, definitely considering this, I think 550 is more appropriate. But I don't know if that's gonna. It depends on what your market is, and are you trying to sell online versus like on Facebook and OfferUp? So, and you said the case is the Micro ATX TechWare VXN Evo. Let me see what this thing is. It's a dual chamber case. Oh, is this? Okay, so this is like a $60 case usually. They don't have it available here, but oh, these you got 9 fans in here. So maybe you spent less on the fans because it comes with 3, but you put 3 on the bottom and 3 on top. Yeah, this thing. I mean, this is basically this case, which is $60. So yeah, these. Wait, you said dual chamber. Are these really dual? These are kind of dual chamber. I'd say these are like 1.5 chambers. The the chamber back here. No, I take that back. You can fit a sideways power supply. Yeah, we'll call it a dual chamber. Um, but yeah, I would say this is a pretty budgety case. There are some shortcomings to it. It's kind of like it's made with like thinner metal. It looks like it has breakaway covers, which isn't the end of the world, but I'm just saying these cases they're made to look pretty at a low cost, and they don't feel as premium, which buyers probably won't care about. So yeah, cardboard is the cheapest case you can get. Well, you would have to build it and cut it to spec, and I don't know how much I would trust cardboard holding a graphics card in that backside bracket. No case is definitely the cheapest case. Your motherboard box or your tabletop with it sitting there is technically the cheapest case. I just sold a 9700K and a 2070 32 gig RAM build for 700 Canadian, which is how much in USD? 500. Whoa. And I forget where the 9700K is relative to the 3600. So yeah, Nathaniel, I'm thinking 550, but you spent 470, so like telling you to take 500 for it means you put in all that work and effort to make $30. And I know it's not ideal, but it just depends on what, like who you're selling against. So I don't use a case. I use an open bench table. My only concern with that is like if something accidentally falls into it, not necessarily water, but like just anything else. If it like accidentally falls over and then like hits a fan or with an open case, like something could go wrong if for whatever reason something like gets into your computer. It'll fling it. The fans will fling it all around, potentially like cause damage and stuff. So, I have never run an open test bench on my personal build. I do my test bench is like I do open test bench all the time when I'm testing parts. But for my personal build, I've never had an open test bench or an open bench. Do I recommend AM4 still? Yes, because at a certain price point, you can only afford AM4. Like for under what I would say like $800, it's really hard to fit AM5 in unless you get crazy good deals. But even with good deals, I think it's pretty hard to fit AM5 like motherboard DDR5 and CPU into like 800 or less builds. So yeah, I still like AM4. I think AM4 is still perfectly viable. Like the graphics cards you're running at that price range, even like at $1,000, even though I am using AM5 more once I reach that threshold, you're only using like a $300-400 graphics card, and those run perfectly fine with Ryzen 5600s, which are like 80 or $90. So AM4 I think is gonna be relevant for a long time. Unfortunately, or like AMD is releasing new chips still with like leftover scrap, silicon from other higher end X3D chips. Like they released that 5500 X3D recently, but unfortunately there's not enough to go around that they only limited it to like the 5600 X3D was only Micro Center exclusive. The 5500 X3D is like a South America exclusive. So they're releasing new chips for it, but you're going to have to find it in the secondhand market somehow if you don't have those, stores or places nearby. What are my thoughts on the Height Y70? I'm thinking about buying one soon. I don't like the Height Y70. Let me pull it up. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I think the height Y70. I'm sorry to rain on your parade. Chat. What is everybody's thoughts on the height Y70? Let's see what the whole everyone in chat thinks. But I have built in this case now 3 times. I don't like that you are limited to... my biggest complaint probably is that GPU mounting. You cannot horizontal mount this thing. You have to vertically mount it. You have to use the riser cable. So that's just another point of failure. That's just another like part that you have to put in there. If you have a thick graphics card, it's gonna run up against the glass. Like, why is this case $220 and it has that big of shortcomings? I feel like for this case, you're meant to do like a baller build in it. You know, like $2,300 build. And what does that mean when you have a graphics card at that price range? It's going to be a big, thick, fat RTX 5080 or 9070 XT or 5090 or something along those lines. And this thing only lets you mount it in the worst possible configuration for thermals. And it's annoying as hell when you need to upgrade. Every time I've helped my brother-in-law upgrade his M.2 SSDs, and we've had to remove the graphics card and then the riser cable just to access the motherboard, I'm just like, I want to smack this thing with a baseball bat. So that's my thoughts on it, but let's read what chat has to say. Cases are just aesthetics, putting lipstick on a pig, in my opinion, in decline. I kind of feel that same way too. I try to not ever, unless it's like a sponsored build where I have to use the sponsor's case or something, but I try to target like $80 to $120 for a case. To me, that extra $100 could get you like another terabyte or 2 of SSD. It could upgrade your RAM from 32 to 64 gigabytes. You can do so much with the $100 spent on this case. And I will say, even if this was cheaper, this thing is heavy. It is annoyingly big and heavy. Yes, I have had to build this thing in this thing, filled up, and then carried it around 3 separate times, and I'm just not about this case. Even if this thing was $120, I would rather take like a Corsair 4000D for 120 or even less. But like, I would rather pick like almost any other case than this thing. I'm sorry. It's going to be funny if Height ever wanted to reach out for me to do a sponsorship and then they wanted me to use this case. And then I'm just like, I have to be fake as hell and pretend to like it. But I don't think Height will ever reach out. So I think I'm covered. I got the NZXT H3 and it has USB-C in the front I/O. Thing is, I have a Gigabyte 9060 XT with the cutout and the cable for it almost touches near the area of the GPU. Should I try to move it? Wait, what? You have a 9060 XT with the cutout and the cable for that with the cutout. Almost touches near that area? Do you have a picture you could submit so I can tell what you're talking about? I'm trying to see what you mean by the USB-C I/O getting in the way of the 9060 XT cable. Huh. Yeah, if you have a picture, that would be great. Because I can't imagine what you're talking about right now. The USB front I/O, it comes to the thing, but how's the graphic? No way the motherboard you have placed that where a motherboard or a graphics card overhang is. You said it's close, but it shouldn't be. I've never run into a USB-C header that sat underneath a graphics card overhang. I think that's what you mean, but I would need to see a picture to see how close it is. And when you say, should I try to move it? Do you mean the graphics card to like a lower slot? Ideally not. I think you should be able to fit your USB-C connector, but I would need to see a picture. Height is way overrated. I would agree with that statement. Just a waste of money. That's my sentiments. Not only a waste of money, but in my decision, not decision, but opinion, I think it's a poor design. Like, I think there's a way to make this case better. There's so many cases that let you do both vertical and horizontal mounted. Lee has it. I think, who else has them? I think Thermaltake. Like, so many other case manufacturers have figured out how to give you the flexibility to run your graphics cards upwards and sideways. And height, yeah, thumbs down for me, dog. Y70 is like the Nissan. I don't. How's it the Nissan Altima? I would say no. Was the Altima overrated and overly priced? I thought Altima were kind of like more affordable cars. I actually like the Imitators better. What is the HY70 Imitator? And isn't everybody the imitator of the 011 Dynamic because they were the ones who really popularized dual chambers? Hey Danny, what's a budget wireless headset I can buy through Amazon? Jeff's Tech? I have no idea. You want to know how I would look for a headset? Wireless headset. And I would go, which one is in my price range? I would probably pick a Bluetooth one so that I don't have to have a dongle. And then I would grab something that looks decent with decent reviews. And you said how much budget? I would probably spend no more than 30 or 40 bucks. I'm not an audiophile though. So like for me, getting headphones is just like, all right, it plays sound and it doesn't sound like it's coming through a 1960s radio and it doesn't have static and, you know, all that stuff. Like, I'm not very picky, so I am definitely not the person to ask for it. But I would probably pick up either this one. Does this have Bluetooth? I would want one with Bluetooth, though, so I have the flexibility in case I lose the dongle. Because I kind of hate dongles. This one does have Bluetooth. Yeah, so you're set. And you can get the blue and black version. But yeah, I would probably choose some no-name brand ones because I've had luck with no-name peripherals. Like, I've used no-name keyboards. I've used no-name mice. For their price, I think they work very well. So, I mean, one thing would be like battery life. That might be important to you, so you would have to look into that. All right, we got a $5 super chat. Yaz says, hi, Danny. I'm exploring pre-built PCs and have 1,500. Recommend one that offers the best value. All right, we're deal hunting now. Okay, wait. Give me 1 second. We will get to this. Because we're going to look at Andromeda Insights and Cost Plus Gaming. Because these two are going to be the ones that I think are going to get you the most for your money. Okay, you posted a picture. So here it is. Oh, that's fine. Oh, this is way clearer. Oh, whoops, sorry. Okay, so this is what you're talking about. So with your motherboard and versus the graphics card, yeah, this is exactly how I would do it. You might be able to route the cable so that it comes out of this top, this top hole, because you have it coming from down here. Wait, is the connectors on the bottom? Let me take a look at this. NZXT. I should know this because I should have built with this case. Where are the connectors on this thing? Is it? It's on the top. So I feel like there should be a way to route this cable so that it comes. If you are worried about this bend, it's going into the motherboard just fine. There's plenty of space between this and the graphics card. But if you're worried about this kink and bend, you can try to route it coming from this upper hole instead, so that it doesn't even touch the graphics card. As it is, I think you're fine. You don't have to move anything, but if you don't want this, I don't know, slightly blocking the heatsink fins here, you can route it higher. But I think you're fine. Okay. Let me read the rest of the things about... Yep, I used to have the Y60 and I hated, been limited by the riser cable. Okay, I mean, here's testimonies from people who have had the 60 and 70. What is the Discord new here? Wait. Oh, Nathaniel, the Discord's in, it should be in the description. Let me know if it doesn't work. The Discord link. Nathan Tasker Force, not a fan of the height Y70, it is very overpriced. So yeah, overpriced, but like I said, even if it was $150, I would not like it. Price is only one of the reasons it kind of is bad in my opinion. The riser cable issue, just the overall size and weight of it. I don't know. Like, I feel like for less money, you can get better cases. Do you think they will release the 9070 GRE? It wasn't that a thing. It's now... how many gigs does it have though? It's a 12 gig, but so you're asking for 16 gigs. That I have no idea. I just picked up 5600 GT system for 400. Not sure the case brand, but it's a fish tank. Need to add a GPU. Put a 9060 XT in there. The 9060 XT is just like such a flexible card at its price that you could pair it with older systems. You can pair it with modern systems. It's just it has such a wide range. I would say a safe bet is 9060 XT for your 5600 GT system. Have I done a mineral water build? Never. It looks like too big of a mess. And it's like, how much does mineral oil cost? I feel like, and when you said mineral water, did you mean mineral water or mineral oil? I think most people normally do the oil, right? But funny YouTube shorts fan told me aesthetics is the most important. Omar says, blah, blah, blah. What's a fair price to list? 7800 XT, I think 450 is a pretty fair price. Because any more than that, it's just like you're $100 away from a 9070 non-XT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think 450 is like the sweet spot. Maybe 475. But it's a gen old now. It's getting to be almost 2 years old. Or is it 2 years old by this point? Okay. Yeah, the USB-C cable touching the exhaust cutout's fine. It's not a problem. Trust me, the heatsink fins aren't getting that hot to the point where it'll be a problem with your cable. You can also flex it up if you're worried about it, but it's not going to impede airflow or anything. You're fine. Okay. Sent to the submissions. I think Nathaniel was going to send something in too. So that was Bob Reno. Thanks for sending that in. I've not seen Nathaniel's thing yet, but what up, Chris? We pulled up your 2003 3D Mark thing earlier in the stream. Okay. $1,500. Let's help out Yaz real quick. Best build for $1,500. If you guys can find something better than what I'm about to pull up, let us know. But I think it's going to be pretty tough because these two companies are kind of killing it in terms of the value proposition. PC sales. Let me see. Limited time PCs. 1,500. Look at this. A 5070 Ti. I mean, I'm going to call it. I don't think we're going to get much better than a 5070 Ti. Sure, it has a 12700KF, but this is essentially the CPU I have. These ones aren't the ones with the reported problems. It is on a limited socket. Do they let you change? Can we change to AM5? Really? You got everything going on for this build. I think for what it is, this is going to be hard to beat. I know people are going to have complaints that it's an Intel 12th gen build. Let's see what Cost Plus Gaming has. Let me see their builds. Is it M1 Enthusiast? Okay, so over on this side of things, Cost Plus Gaming. Oh, okay. They have a... You can get a 7600 X3D build, 2TB SSD. What's the GPU? With the 5070 non-Ti. So let's say we back this down to a 5070 Ti and a 9700X. Ooh, okay, never mind. That's not going to do it. Yeah, that 5070 Ti is going to make it very expensive. So on this one, we've got the way better CPU, but we're kind of... The 5070 and 5070 Ti, that's a pretty big jump in performance. Like, the cost difference is $200. And the performance difference between the two... see tech power up. Let me pull that up real fast. It's gonna be roughly kind of linear. 5070 Ti, 30%. So yeah, it's gonna cost you about 30% more in terms of... No, it costs almost 50% more, but 30% more performance. But you get more VRAM, which some people find way more important. But I don't think anywhere else on the internet you're gonna find something in the ballpark of $1,500 that's gonna get you a 5070/5070 Ti with, you know, a 7800 X3D. USB-C is overrated. USB-A is the way to go? No way. As someone who does frequent file transfers onto external SSDs, USB-C is the way to go. Well, the 14700 bottleneck with the 12700, no, 5070 Ti with the 12700, I mean, it'll bottleneck it at 1080p. I think at 1440p maxed out and 4K, it won't. I think that would be a fine pairing. Hey, what up, Pete Dunn? Thanks for the kind words. Yep, everything is going well with the family. Hope everything is going well with you as well. What's a good price for the 7900 GRE? 7900 GRE. Where are we sitting in that in terms of... So you said 7900 GRE. That's like just barely better than a 7800 XT, right? 83, 80. So it's within 10% of a 7800 XT or pretty equivalent to 6950 XT. So price-wise for that would be like... But how far is it from the 7900 XT? 8%. Let me see. I would think like 500 to 550. Let me look at the relative performance. Yeah, it's coming in around a... Ooh. So it has... What's the RAM? 16 gigs versus the 12... See, right now... So you're talking about a used 7900 GRE. You have to consider the 5070 is pretty much at MSRP right now. I have found it for MSRP for the last few weeks. If it goes out of stock, it usually comes back in stock like within a week. So it is not difficult to get a 5070 brand new for $550. So you got a card that's like 8% slower, has more VRAM, but is slower. It's a generation older, worse ray tracing, doesn't have the newest DLSS, doesn't have NVIDIA broadcast and like all those other things, doesn't have CUDA. I'm thinking, yeah, like 500 for the 7900 GRE, maybe 525, but that's pushing it because it's a used card. Like, you got to consider what the new alternative is, and that's $500 right, or $550 right here. So I'm thinking 500 at the most to sell a 7900 GRE or to buy one. Yeah, says Dan, I really appreciate you for taking the time to find pre-builts. Thanks a lot. Well, first of all, thanks for the donation. Even though I usually, if I see it, I would help people out, but the super chat brought it to my attention faster. So I would say between these, okay, chat, I'm kind of conflicted. I would say this, wait, how many terabytes? This has a 1 terabyte SSD. I'm going to say the disclaimer with this is, oh, this is $1,600 though. See, you would have to get the 14700F to get it for $1,529. And people are concerned with 14 gen. I would say the upgrade to the 7800 X3D would be good and worth it for the extra $100 because you're gonna get this CPU on this socket that's already gonna last you a long time. But let's say the next better thing comes out. They're probably going to support AM5 for a long time. So you might have one more upgrade on this AM5 socket. And the 5070 is not the worst graphics card to get at a $1,500 or $1,600 price point. Considering they're giving you 2 terabyte NVMe storage. I think the Cost Plus one, yeah, Cost Plus is... I don't know how they're selling builds for this cheap. I do know that they do have a long lead time. I think it's like a month or something. It says 7+ business days. You should contact them or put in the order and see what the estimate is. And if it's not to your liking, cancel it. But they are doing the strategy where they're selling builds for like almost at cost to build up their brand reputation. And I feel one day they're going to actually charge more for these systems. But yeah, I mean, look at this. This is 32 gigs of 6000 CL30. There's nothing really wrong. And they're using like a reputable power supply. What is Andromeda using? Yeah, see, Andromeda is kind of like, they don't tell you the exact model of the power supply. You're getting less. You don't even know how fast the RAM speed is. Cost plus gaming. I'm just gonna link it right here. I think this is the one. But make sure, I would say get the 7800 X3D. You might not have to pay sales tax too. I was seeing on the pre-built subreddit, some people bought this. I think it depends on where you live. They didn't have to pay sales tax, which saves you, you know, like anywhere from like 80 to 160 bucks. Sell at cost equals, no, I don't think it's money laundering. I mean, it could be, but let's just feign ignorance here and get a baller PC at a good price. Okay. Let's run a poll. If you found a somewhat questionable but not proven potential money laundering PC for a good price, would you buy it? If you found a questionable, not proven laundered PC for a good price, would you buy it? Yes, no. Okay, we're gonna start this poll. Remember, there's no actual evidence or proof that it is money laundering. I wouldn't even say, I'm not even convinced it's money laundering. I think they're just giving good. But let's just say there was some company out that people have been, there's accusations that they were doing, it was a money laundering operation, but they were doing it via selling PCs at cost. Would that even matter to you? I don't think you would get in trouble if you bought it, because obviously you didn't know. Like, there would be no proof that you knew, and you could get a PC at a good price. And in terms of like the morality of it, what would be like, this isn't the same as like slave labor, child labor, you know, infringing on like people's rights, things like that. It's money laundering. I guess it depends to what degree it is. Like if it's like, I don't know, has ties to like mafia and super crazy stuff like that. But we're just saying, let's just say money laundering without anything too crazy involved. Would you care? Would you buy it? It looks like most people are saying yes. If I get a PC at a good price and it works, still a bit sus. It's sus, but you got it at a good price. There is absolute proof. Wait, whoa, what? Yeah, I get you flipping chum on so gratuity private exchange. Wait. There is absolute proof? Wait, what do you mean, Mike? About cost plus? That they're laundering? Or are we talking about something else? I don't care as long as I get a deal and no one dies in the process. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with that sentiment. It's a function of a private banking system where components and cards are used as exchange transactions. Are we talking about cost plus specifically, or are we talking about some of that black market stuff Gamers Nexus was covering? Because I don't know, cost plus, I think they're bulk buying and getting discounts from vendors. I've seen it happen in real life with zero customer support, what called them out, or delivering the wrong product because they're out of stock. You're talking about something else too, Charlie Q, right? You're not talking about Cost Plus Gaming? Because I've been seeing people have been getting their deliveries of what they've ordered from Cost Plus. Even if it is money laundering, that's not on the consumer. That's a business problem with the law. I think that's true. Ignorance isn't an excuse when it comes to the law. Well, the thing is, I would say the accusations against Cost Plus Gaming in this specific scenario, there's no evidence on it, so it's just hearsay right now, right? So I think you could buy this PC conscious free. Your James Dean. Hey, I've been meaning to ask someone this recently. I found a listing for a graphics card 7900 XT for 400. Is that a crazy find? That's a really good price. 7900 XT for 400 is like, you better make sure that thing works. Oh, I've been using it for almost 2 months. You already got it. Yeah, you got a crazy good deal on that. $400 normally would only get people like a 6800 non-XT and maybe a 6800 XT, and you were able to get a 7900 XT. Yeah, goodbye. Yes, but put it on a credit card in case it turns into a scam for safer. Well, the good thing is they even have PayPal payment. I would use PayPal. Cause yeah, PayPal is pretty good with protection. Is $80 more for the X3D worth it? Versus what? Wait, where's the price difference? These two. So it's about $80 more. Yeah, $80 more for a 9800 X3D. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what you're asking. I would say I'm leaning towards no. I don't know, man. Unless I don't know what my threshold is for price difference between 7800 X3D and 9800 X3D, but I think 80 is too much. I would rather save $80 and throw it towards another 1TB SSD, or 2TB actually SSD. Like, I feel like the extra $80 saved could be better spent either just on something else not computer related in your life, like bills and groceries, or another SSD or something. Like, they need to be closer in price for me. I'm thinking like maybe a $40 to $50 price difference is when I will upgrade between 7800 X3D to 9800 X3D. Would you buy a computer you know was stolen? If you knew it was, I would say no to that one pretty easily, because knowing it was stolen is different than thinking it was stolen. Like, if you have concrete proof of it, like the seller telling you, hey, I stole this, but I'm going to sell it to you for a cheap price, versus like I met some sketchy, junky looking person in the back alley and they're letting this go for way too cheap. That, like, I think there's a fine line between those two, but I understand what you mean. Yeah. For the cost plus gaming though, I think that you're fine. Like, I think they're doing business legit. Yes, both of these are going to be enough for both the 5070 and the 5070 Ti. Like, I think a 7800 X3D is plenty. Like, you don't need the biggest, baddest thing on the block. You can get its younger cousin or younger brother, which is almost as good. Like, it's fine. Or younger sister. Luke M. Silver says, stolen from a person? No. Fell off the truck stolen? Probably. You were a bit sketched out about that 7900 XT. It was only listed as graphic card, not even like the name. Do you think they were a bit unaware of the price? Yeah, it could be. Oh, here's a question. All right, we're gonna end that because most people are saying yes. Okay, if you bought start a poll. If you bought an item out of state that did not charge you sales tax, but you needed to report would you? Sorry, I have to do shorthand. And I think there's no repercussions to this because I've to this day I think people are still doing this. But so back when Newegg used to not like have sales tax in a bunch of states, like Washington State, when I used to buy from Newegg, there was no sales tax. Technically, you didn't pay sales tax. I think you were always supposed to report that you bought it out of state and then pay the tax, to your state. Somehow, I don't know if you would have done that on your end of the year taxes or in some other way. But there's no repercussions. There's no like nobody checked it or anything. So pretty much everyone back then didn't pay the sales tax, right? But I'm just curious what y'all would do if if to this day that system was still in place and you bought something that you were not charged sales tax for. Loved it, never reported. Said Coalition Gaming. Yeah, I don't think anybody did. Like, I remember Jay's 2 Cents made a video specifically talking about this when tax started being charged in all the different states. And he talked about it and like how you were supposed to pay it the whole time, but nobody did. But yeah, I never paid sales tax when I wasn't charged it on like eBay and Newegg and stuff like that. Danny must be working for the IRS asking all these questions. Yes, I'm a plant. They've come up with the most convincing plant there was. A computer building content creator to come after all the people buying PC parts and not paying their supposed sales tax. There's no sales tax in Alaska, so I'm good. If it say I had to report it, not if I would. Wait, it say if I had to report it, not if I would report it. If you bought item out of state that did not have sales tax but had to report it, would you? I don't want to volunteer for more. No, I don't think anybody wants to volunteer for more taxes. People just don't want to go to jail, though, or be fined after the fact. A lot of people did not. Yes, I agree. A lot of people didn't know that you were supposed to eventually pay sales tax once you got the item in your state and stuff like that. But let's just say, you know, they put big fine print in there and like it became a well-known thing that you should report it. Would you? Not that paranoid to think that they would care. That's loaded. If it's a very large purchase, yes. A graphics card, nope. I think you have to do that with cars. I've been watching this, and with cars, I don't even think, like, there's no way around it, because once you, like, register it. But I've been watching this channel called Delivered, where the guy does, like, car negotiations live. But every time they talk about like buying it out of tax and stuff, they talk about like, oh, you gotta pay for the tax, like, and sometimes like, oh, we don't charge the tax. You have to figure that out once it gets to your state. So it seems like in other industries, it's just like a thing that you have to do. But yeah, it was crazy when we didn't have to pay for it, buying like things online out of state lines. Any pre-built vendors that specialize in small form factor builds? That's a good question. Oh, we are 2 hours in the stream. I probably have to end in the next 15-20 minutes. So let me small form factor system integrator. I'm pretty sure there are. For small form factor PCs, premium, rugged, small form factor computers, Trilogic. CP, oh man, that is very, I mean, CP was also the acronym of my high school, but CP, North America, that's a very unfortunate acronym. Okay, performance, rugged products. Oh, okay, this is more like, I think, professional level, small form factor solutions. Okay, we got freaking military. Okay, this is not what we're looking for. Oh my gosh, okay. I need to put gaming PCs. Okay. Main Gear looks like they might have something. Pre-configured PCs. Custom PCs. Northrush. Not really. I wouldn't count this one as it. Pre-configured case. We can resort by case. Or form factor. Alright, so it's not Main Gear. Origin. CLX. Exotic. Okay, Falcon Northwest would likely have it. Falcon Northwest is also one of the very premium costing. Yeah, they have custom cases. But let's take a look at an example. Falcon Northwest, where they're in, aren't they in Washington or Oregon? Where's Falcon Northwest located? I think it's Washington. They are located in. Oh no, they're in Oregon. Okay. They're in Medford, Oregon. But let's take a look at their systems. Desktops. Micro towers. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about frag box. This thing looks cool. Let's configure this. I told you they're expensive. 4,000 minimum price. Let's go to the other one. Let's see what the other one cost. Falcon Northwest, though, it's like the premium experience. They, like, acoustic and thermal test with, like, CFD models and stuff. Computational fluid dynamics, like, with the... It's, like, over the top, in my opinion. But I mean, they've been around for years. I know they advertise on Jay's 2 Cents channel. And I'm pretty sure a large customer base. But for the average person, I mean, let's take a look at this other small form factor. This one starts at, if you want the Intel, 4,000, and this one's 4,400, right? So they justify it with their, yes. So they have really good customer service, but the customer service is, I kind of treat it like a warranty, right? If nothing goes wrong, customer service means squat, and you just paid for all that for nothing. So it's kind of like an insurance policy. When I buy things, I typically don't buy insurance. Like, when it comes to, like, computers and stuff, right? Obviously, for my home and my car, I have insurance. Even though I would, for the car, I have never filed a car insurance accident claim. So I've been paying into car insurance for, like, well over a decade now, and they have all this money from me, and I've never made use of it. But that's besides the point. Like, every time you buy a graphics card from Best Buy or Newegg or Amazon, now you can buy an insurance plan for it and CPUs and everything like that. And same with buying a fully pre-built computer. For me, I've never thought the cost was worth it, but I am comfortable fixing and troubleshooting my own computer. But, like, to pay, whoops, wrong one. To pay $4,000, let's see what you get for $4,000 though. This better be like a 9800 X3D 5090 system. It probably won't be, but let's see. See, okay. I understand the mindset, and I'm not sure. I have no problems with Falcon Northwest. They definitely serve a purpose, and I think they're well regarded in the PC building community. So this is not me trying to, like, throw shade or talk down on them. I'm just looking at what I see in front of me and giving my honest opinions. And they, or you guys, whoever thinks that, I'm just a cheap ass, which is true. I'm a cheap ass. So that's how I look through the lens of a cheap ass. The system starts at $4,400, and it comes with the Ryzen 5 9600X. It comes with 32 gigs of 6,000 memory. It comes with a 9070 XT, a $700-ish graphics card based on today's market price. It does have a that's onboard sound card. 2 terabyte SSD. Now, I can tell you, you could build this system not in a custom Falcon Northwest computer case, and not with their legendary customer service. You could build a system like this for, I think, around $1,500 to $1,700 pretty easily. If you want it to be ITX, maybe it'll cost you like 18. It'll be under 2,000 for sure. Like, they live in a state that pays like a good high minimum wage, and they probably pay their employees even more than minimum wage. So their cost of operations and the way that they test their systems definitely influence the cost of it. But I do not know many people personally that can fork over $4,400 for a 9600X 9070 XT system. I mean, if we look at the other small form factor ones, though, let's see. Like, this one is from Exotic PCs. This is also a small form factor, but it starts at $1,300. And what does this give you? This starts you off with the 8500G. So let's say we change that to, let's do a 7800 XDD build. 7800 XDD. And we're going to get ourselves a 9070 XT. Now the build is $2,600. How did that jump up so fast? Oh, it's because it had no graphics card in it. It started at $1,300 with no graphics card, and we added in a CPU upgrade as well as like a $700 something graphics card. I think you have to build yourself because there's not that many options. Let me see if there's any other small form factor. Here we go. Small form factor. And that's only micro ATX. It's not even mini ITX. Whoa, this one has customized. Let me see. Sorry, no brokies. No broke boys. Let's see what this thing has. So this comes with the Ryzen 5600 and a 4060 starting at $1,400 just because. What is this motherboard? Is this even... This is micro ATX. Okay. This is CLX gaming. My god. Micro ATX doesn't really count as small form factor. I don't count it as that because the parts aren't like... I mean, they're smaller, but when I think SFF, I think like the premium parts. Like that needs an SFX power supply, not just a standard ATX. But yeah, it looks like you're going to be paying quite a bit of a premium just to get a smaller thing. Let's see, Origin. And Origin's pretty expensive too. Here's small form factor. They used the Corsair 2000D. And what does this one start at? How do I configure? Hello? Oh, shop now. Shop pre-configured, sure. Okay. The lowest cost one, oh my god, is $2,200. And it comes with a 9600X and a 5060 for over $2,000. How's this? You pay me and I will build you a better system on stream, and the shipping cost, because it's going to be small form factor, will be less. I will say though, I will test the system, make sure there's no problems on stream. I will ship it with insurance. You can get it if it works fine. I will not provide customer support past the first week of ownership, but it will be much cheaper and much better performance than anything you could find online. The downside of system integrators, their overhead costs make them charge way more. But the thing is, I think their normal towers cost kind of reasonable. The small form factor, they're like doubling or tripling their cost of labor. If we go look for a normal tower on any of those other ones, these SIs, I bet you they're like reasonable. $200-$300 build fee. But my god, these small form factor builds, ridiculous. Danny built PC systems 1 month extended support only. No, my thing is, I'm not saying any of like the viewers would do this, but maybe they will. Like, people break their stuff and expect a return and don't take ownership and responsibility over it. People do that all the time. And places like Amazon and Walmart and Target, they've like gotten people used to being able to just return anything, no questions asked. But if you're gonna be like buying from a one-man operation or like a small business, you can't be doing that stuff because you're screwing them over on their like margins and time. So, like, I would build the system, pack it very well, show that it works perfectly on stream, no problem, stress test and everything. But then from that point on, I have proven I built a good system. And anything else, you would have to go with manufacturer's warranty if it's a fault of the product down the line. But yeah. Okay. Let me see. No one pays for 8500G. That is sales closed chum. Yeah, we've been seeing a couple of 8500Gs in here, huh? Okay, I saw Chris say something. Now that the Yaris is secondary, how long until it becomes a project car and you turbo and soup it up? Imagine if it was fast. I know, right? No, I don't think ever. I'm too cheap to pour any money into it other than basic maintenance. You forgot to look on the dark web for SFPCs. Can you point me to which dark web, specifically? Can I have a link to click on, please? Can you give me one dark web link? Um, Best Buy has a heck of a deal on an HP Omen. 1200 under 1200 for a 5060 Ti. Yeah, that's a pretty good price. Oh, I did want to look at. Okay, before let's see if it's still going on. The Newegg had a crazy deal on a 14600K bundle deal. Oh, this one right here. Okay, look at this. $40 off. So these were 14600K. Yeah. Say whatever you want about 14th gen Intel. For the right price, it's worth it. This comes with. Look at this. This comes with Battlefield 6. Isn't this worth like 60 or 70 bucks if you were gonna buy it anyways? I don't remember. What is the value? Yeah, Battlefield 6 is gonna be 70 bucks. So if you're gonna get Battlefield anyways, and you're looking at CPU upgrade, so 70 bucks here, and a $40 off promo. So this become from 190 down to 140. So you're spending 150 rather, 150 on a 14600K, which by itself is a pretty decent price, all things considered, performance wise, ignoring the platform. And then you also get $70 Battlefield 6 included for free. Is Intel this desperate to be selling these CPUs with these bundles at this price? It is a pretty crazy deal. I'm thinking about picking one up myself because I recently picked up an ITX Z790 or Z690 motherboard from the last pickup video. And I don't have a CPU to really go with it. And this would work just fine. And then I could get the Battlefield code so that I can use for benchmarks. Does Battlefield usually have a built-in benchmark? What is the latest Battlefield game? Battlefield 2042. Wait, are these all like DLCs? Okay, do these have built-in benchmarks? The way I look at games I don't care about is if they can benchmark it, then I might care about it a little bit. But I don't really care about Battlefield. Great CPU for the price, plus battle. Yeah. Let's see what the benchmark is. No, see, Hardware Unbox had to test it in the stage. Oof. Yeah, I don't care to play Battlefield. Does Battlefield 6 might have it? Dude. Companies need to put in canned benchmarks because there's no way to compare side by side with somebody else on the internet if you have to test it in game because it's influenced by so many things. It doesn't look like it has a built-in benchmark, so I do not care about it, unfortunately. I don't think Battlefield has ever had a built-in benchmark. One thing that I would be okay with, though, is if they let you set up, like, bot matches or set up custom games where you could be the only player in it and then you could run around and dick around, then that's, like, putting you in an isolated environment to properly test. But, yeah, if they don't have that, then, yeah, I don't care. They have an FPS counter? Yeah, but anyone can have an FPS counter by installing Afterburner or using the built-in Adrenaline or GeForce experience. 42 has bot matches. Okay, so that might be okay. And then you can just run across the map, put like 0 bots in it or something. Yeah. Wait, my feed? Wait, what was on my feed? This isn't even my feed. This is not logged in YouTube. Oh. Yes. No, I'm not logged in right now. See? It says sign in. Linus somehow popped it in it, though. But, yeah. Hot dogs and biceps and girl slap competitions. Yeah, I would say, yeah. This did look pretty sus. Yeah, what the hell? What is all this? This is AI. Dude, I swear, YouTube Shorts content, some of it is so freaking cringe. That was just raw YouTube. It's a nightmare. Yeah. I don't think my YouTube's that bad. Let's take a look at what my YouTube is. Let me sign in real quick. I'm gonna have to. Do I have to confirm every time just because I'm on a private browser? I don't. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We got one. So here's mine. So we got some people that I'm sub to, and then we got Linus. We've got this deep cleaning store. I'm not even subscribed to them, but because I've watched a couple of their shorts, I don't know what the heck this is. This is the battle bunker guy who does the pull-up bar on his truck. But look at that thumbnail. They know what they were doing with this thumbnail. I do watch this person because he does the pull-up challenge with random strangers. Crack filling. I do watch like home improvement / like construction type videos. Yeah. So my actual YouTube thing, Fight Hype, is not too sus. Dashi. Yeah, Danglos dies in the crack filling. Will I switch to when will I switch to iPhone? Probably never. Actually, I don't know. I've been considering it. It's just too expensive. Maybe if I can find one for a really good price. But no one sells iPhones for a good price because they hold their value. And if you find a good price one, it's likely one that's been like stolen. And if you update it, it'll be locked out. What they do is they crack it because when you report your phone stolen, it'll get locked out. But then people find a way to crack it until it gets updated, and then you find out, oh my god, this was a stolen iPhone. So yeah, I don't think I would ever. iPhones are just way too expensive for me. Like, it's ridiculous how expensive they are. Even the base model, like from like last generation, the iPhone 15 with crappy storage, like 64 gigs or 128 gigs, it's like $800 or something. It's crazy. Danny been looking at Fanny? No. Danny, your phone looks like a Spy Kids gadget. It is the OnePlus 12. They did do this Hasselblad camera collaboration, and it made it have this very unique like 4 lens system. And then I got this cute pop socket. I'm thinking about going to MagSafe. So this phone doesn't have MagSafe in it, but I'm like, life would be so much easier with regards to like my car phone mount and then like charging and stuff like that if I got a MagSafe case that I could just slap like a MagSafe pop socket on that I can remove whenever I needed to, so I can MagSafe it when I put it into my car to get directions and stuff. So yeah, I was thinking about starting to convert all my things to MagSafe. And my Melissa, she already has an iPhone, so she already has MagSafe, so she would be able to utilize it too. Unfortunately, I can't get my phone number verified on Discord. Why is that? But yeah, I put the phone verification on the Discord server just because we've been raided like 2 times in the past, and I just want every security measure. Unfortunately, if you can't verify, then I think the handful of people who can't verify, unfortunately, does not outweigh the risk of people making spam accounts to come raid and bot and put malicious links and stuff. So yeah, Apple phones are an actual pain to repair. I feel like even this phone would be a pain to. I feel like for inexperienced people like myself, phone repairs would be a pain in general because you got to heat it up, pull off the screen, the glue and all that crap. Like, I do not want to do phone repair like ever. I will say the reason I would want to go over to iPhone is for the camera quality because it's just better. Sorry, like it is just better. But some of the things that I do on my phone a lot run better on just iOS because it's been optimized for it better. Like the Android versions are just like a little bit choppier and isn't as quick and snappy. Yeah. I dare you to make a $500 build on PC Power Picker. I can't do that right now because I actually got to get going in like the next 5 minutes. But I can tell you a $500 all brand new build on PC Power Picker is going to be like a Ryzen 5500. I don't even know what, like with the B580, you already are using half of your budget. So unless you're going used graphics card or pulling from like RTX 5050, wait, how much is a 5050? I forget. Is that 250 or 200? Yeah, RTX 5050 is also 250. So you need to go back to like RX 580 levels for like $100, and that's still going to be hard to fit in the rest of like the motherboard, all components and stuff. You would need AliExpress to build a decent, not crappy PC for $500, like using not used parts on PC Part Picker. You can turn any case to MagSafe. I would rather just have one that's built in, like to the case itself, so that it's like nice and flush. The batteries on iPhones are just so bad when high-end Android phones are 6,000 milliamp hours. Oh, I never realized it was that much lower. Yeah, that's a good 20% less battery life. More than 20% less? Dang. The main issue is that Apple pairs parts by serial number and to the motherboard, especially for biometrics. Yeah. Scatterbolt uses an ARC A7850 for the build. Not in his build, right? Oh yeah, I picked one of those up not too long ago, but those prices for a $500 build, I don't think those are applicable anymore because I think the prices went up on them. Let me look at shopping. They used to be like what, 180? Now they're, unless you're buying a used one. Are we counting used ones? You could, if you can use a used one, then sure. But you said PC Part Picker, and PC Part Picker doesn't pull eBay used listings. Yeah, if you're buying a new A750, I think you're looking at closer to $200, which is still really hard to fit. I don't think $500. I think I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's gonna be a pretty bad build. You need to mix used parts in there, particularly pretty much everything, except for the RAM, SSD, case, maybe power supply. But motherboard, CPU, and GPU, you kind of need to go used to like not have a crap build. All right, take it easy, Charlie Q. Okay, 80% of the people would not pay tax that they're supposed to after the fact. Used open box is the only way to avoid ending up with the RT. Yeah, exactly. And even then, RTX 3050s aren't even going for that cheap. They're still like $200, aren't they? Yeah, they're like, you cannot do this without used parts viably. Because this, out of your $500 budget, I think this is even too much, considering you still have to fit CPU, motherboard, RAM, storage, case, and power supply. You're gonna have to bottom of the barrel everything. Did I find my 1080 Ti? I did not yet. I have not found a 1080 Ti. I'm willing to wait. I got so many other videos I gotta do that if I get a 1080 Ti, I'm gonna make a video about it, a revisit. But I'm in no rush. I can wait for the price to drop. I think most people still want like 120 to 140 for it. Ideally, I would get it for under 100. But that probably will still be a while out. Oh, you sent down. Okay, let me take a look on Gmail. Can I even get to it? Or actually, I should be able to go Gmail. Oh yeah, it went right in. Cool. Okay, let's take a look at this. Is anything being shown? Oh my goodness. Give me 1 second. So this is the PC you are trying to flip. Oh, you did pick the nice fans. Okay, this is the last thing we're going to look at. So Nathaniel sent the image of the build that is listed for $550. So you did choose these like Lian Li Unifan looking ones. There's a lot of companies that make fans that look like that now. I would say this is a clean looking build. And you got cable extensions too, which I did not really account for, with right angle adapters, or not right angle. It's like a 180 adapters. This, and you got your sag stick. So this build, even though it only has a 2070 and 3600 in it, this is a good looking build. Did you paint this yourself? Let me see if I can find any details that show it's painted. I think this looks like it's painted. Or it's originally white and it got chips on it. Because I see some paint chips. Mark, you did paint it. Okay. Yeah, I would say this looks very clean. You definitely got that kind of like Tron-esque aesthetics going with those like, you know, light bar lines. And you have that not only on the fans, but you matched it. I mean, because the graphics card has it and the cooler. So, very clean looking build. I think this should move for $550 pretty easily. If you list it on Jawa, you're probably gonna have to list it for more, but because they take a 13, or what's the cut? 13%, right? Because they take a cut, and then you're gonna have to pay taxes on your gains. So, versus if you sell it locally, you can just get your cash for it and not you know, pay the government, not have the government reach in your pockets, and just get all the money. But no, this is a very good looking build. I was not imagining this when you listed the components. I was imagining the case, but I think the fans and the attention to detail that you had on the, you know, the cable extensions and adapters and the sag stick, everything goes together very well. This is certified clean. 12% cut on Jawa, sorry, not 13. But yeah, just kind of a little bit lacking in the specs, but I think for $550 it's a fair price. Like, someone's gonna get a really good looking PC that can perform decently well for the price. All right, I think it is time. It is time. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I gotta get back to the girls. I gotta have dinner. I gotta go to sleep early tonight. I gotta edit. I got footage from PAX that I gotta put up. So, teaching you, selling something locally is not tax evasion. If you were telling me that you sell or you pay taxes on something you sold on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, or Craigslist in an in-person meetup, I'm going to call BS on you. I love Mike and Ike. What are you talking about? Mike and Ike's are so good. You are a law-abiding citizen. As officially, it is documented that you're a law-abiding citizen, but what happens outside of chat and off the internet, we don't know for sure. But all right, y'all, this was a fun stream. I'm trying to get a video out this weekend. We'll see if I can. I got a bunch of PAX interviews, but I was going to do a compilation for AMD versus NVIDIA versus Intel graphics card market share. But yeah, we'll see if I can get it out in time. But other than that, hope you guys have a great... Most people are going back to school now that it's after Labor Day, huh? So hopefully, you know, your first week of school and first week of work back after the holiday weekend's going well. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. And have a great weekend coming up. I will see you in the Discord server if the video releases this weekend. I will see you in the comment section of the LAN Party Stories video if you've watched it and haven't left a comment yet. And yeah, I'll see you next week on the stream. Same time, same day as always. So take care. Bye-bye.